boys and girls, babies in your diapers. Welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a cool video game to talk about, a new AR book about a scientist, my bull squirrel report, and we got a totally fun guest, Mr. Chris, the captain. He runs a morning show and a number of radio stations. Thank you, Captain, for being on my show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Today we're going to start off with a video game of the week, and this is going to be a good one.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Space Mining Simulator. This game is on the Roblox platform, which means you can play it on PC, console, tablet, and even your cell phone. It also means that you can play with your friends, and it is a lot of fun as a group. So you start off as a space miner, and you see a number of planets. My favorite planet is the pink one. You can travel to the planet of your choice and start mining with a basic mining tool. Then, when your backpack is full, you get teleported to the mining ship and sell your ore. Then you can use the money to buy upgrades to your backpack or mining tool. You can even buy a helmet that makes you mine more ore at a time in a longer range. Later, you can buy a pet that goes with you. That will help you mine faster and mine from farther away. You can mine normal stone and even get to the core of the planet. If you mine most of the planet, it will reset and rebuild itself ready to mine again. Also, when you mine, you may find some gems. What is really cool about space mining is that you can use your jetpack to move in all directions. You can go left and right, forward, backwards, and up and down. I think the best part is upgrading your mining tool and getting cool pets. I like saving my money and getting super upgrades. It is super cool when you find a gem, or even get better yet, the core. It is worth so much more and really helps you get better upgrades. I give Space Mining Simulator 10 out of 10 stars, and I think it is really cool for people that like mining games because it lets you move in all directions instead of just walking like on Earth. The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom Braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering, to trophies and awards. They can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373. Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org. The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our awesome sponsors, SlutChannelUS.com. These guys are very, very cool. They bring 21st century surface drainage solutions to reality. They can do corporate and government work. These are the guys that make roads and bridges safe in the rain. You can see all about them at SlutChannelUS.com. That website again is SlutChannelUS.com.
And now we're all ready for the book of the week.
Now it's time for the book of the week. Charlotte the Scientist. This book was written by Carmel Andros. Let me read you the back of the book. Captain, would you do the honor?
You want me to read the back of the book? Wow. Charlotte, the serious scientist, and a bunny, uses a scientific method to solve the problems, and being squished by many of her brothers and sisters.
So this book is an accelerated reading book with a rating of 3rd grade first month. and I'm only in second grade, 8th month. It is worth 0.5 points or half a point. So for all you kids in school, this is a great book to read for AR tests. The story is about Charlotte, who is a bunny that loves science. She has glasses and a lab coat and wants to solve her issue with the scientific method. I learned about the scientific method in school, where you ask a question, then form a hypothesis, then you test the hypothesis, and finally you come up with a conclusion.
Could I ask a question? Do you know what a hypothesis is?
It's like a experiment. It's like, sincerely, she wrote it's like an educated guess.
I'll take that one. I'll take that because I use that word quite a bit. Hypothesis.
But Dad makes me do this when I come up with a problem that I want him to solve for me. Maybe I should ask my mom next time. Well, Charlotte is always squished from a very large family, and she tries to find a solution. I have no idea what that is like because I am an only child. So I get all the toys in the house and wait. Well, this is not about me, but the book. Okay, well, the scientist finds a solution and learns it created another problem, so she has to solve that one. This is a great book to learn about the scientific method and how to solve problems for yourself. I give this book 9 out of 10 stars, and I think most kids should read this book, especially if you like science. Oh, and if you're taking AR tests in school.
What's AR?
Accelerated reading test.
Oh, accelerated reading. So that means I get to read the book like this. I can go. Charlotte was a bunny, and a bunny that was... No, that's not coming out right. See, now you got to stop. See, I was going to be funny. But I didn't... Anyhow. Accelerated reading. Does that mean you're reading something faster?
No, but you read the book and then you take the AR test. Like accelerated reading test on the iPad, phone, or even computer. Today's guest is going to be so much fun. Mr. Chris, the Captain Hill, is a fellow broadcaster like me. Well, he has done a lot more than me, though. He has a morning show, and he runs his own radio station. Wait. He runs a few radio stations. So I am looking at your bio, and well, you looked at a lot of radio stations and did a lot of different jobs, from air talent to producer. So, Captain, how are you enjoying being on my show so far?
It's a pleasure to be on your show, and to sit here and to watch somebody as talented as you are at your age to put this together. I'm impressed.
Actually, the producer is Pierre. I say the word.
Okay, but
He
still,
cuts it up.
But you got it going on. I mean, you're running things.
Yeah.
So
my dad showed me all the stuff you did. What was the best job you had in radio?
Wow, the best job I ever had in radio might be now, because I get to do what I want to do when I get ready. I don't have to answer to anybody. If I want to go see the Bucks and the Redskins play on Sunday, I'll go see them. If I want to go to Jacksonville and watch the Jags play, I'll go to Jacksonville. If I want to go check out an Orlando Magic game, I can go to a Magic game. Or if I want to take you with me to go to IPA, International Association of Amusement Parks, and we get to eat all the cotton candy and all the hot dogs and ride all the rides, then guess what? That's what we get to do.
Or maybe we can do the bowling thing there.
Oh, I got somebody that I want you to bowl against. You're gonna. Okay. I want you to bowl against my girlfriend, Mama San, because she's a little short Filipino woman, and she's a hustler. She knows how to shoot pool. She knows how to go bowling. She must have been hanging out with those Navy guys years ago. So she can bowl. So I would like to see you and her bowl.
What's your high score?
What's her high score? I don't know. All I know is she's done kicked my behind a couple of times. So.
How did you get started in radio?
Well, it happened long, long ago, far, far away, kind of like you and the lightsaber story that we won't talk about on the air. I guess to say this in a nice way, in under 50 seconds, I got kicked off the football team for running my mouth. And then my mother talked to she knew the program director of the radio station at the base we were at in Spain. And next thing I know, I was going to a class, and they were teaching me how to do broadcasting. And this was way back in 1981. October 1st, 1981. And then on Halloween of 1981, I did my first radio show.
And actually, did you know that my dad would be 10?
He was just 10?
Yep, 10.
Wow!
10, because he was born in 1971.
1971. Where was I? I remember where I was in 1971. I was in D.C. And I was probably, it would be your dad's age. And I was going to Fort Myer Elementary School.
Oh, I noticed you have a stage name. I like it. How did you get to be called the captain?
We were talking about that the other night. What happened was I was trying to come up with a name that would be unique. And my first name, I'm a junior. So Fletcher wasn't, it was going to be Brother Fletcher C. Hill. And no, that didn't sound right. And then we kept thinking. And so while everybody's sitting around and we're talking about this, I decided to go get something to eat. And it was a bowl of Captain Crunch. And that's where Captain came from. And then we called it, then it was Captain Jam. But then 102 Jams came on the air. This is fast forward to they came on the air Mother's Day of 1988. And I was working at WOKB, which is 1600 AM. And since they didn't want to hire me, I never used the name Captain and Jam together again. So I am the captain. But then, the funny thing is, life has a very funny way of, it's like karma. It's like a beltway. Life is like a beltway. I guess that's what I want to say. It's because what goes around comes around, and if you don't get it right the first time, you better get it right the second time or the third time. And some folks, 4 or 5 times. So, now I own WJHM 102 Jams. So, I can do whatever I want because I'm Captain Jam again. But I'm just the captain.
So, I think I know another way why you were called the captain, because I'm looking at your football shirt, like the captain of the football team.
Well, I played quarterback, and that's why captain and quarterback kind of go together. You're calling the shots, and you're making things happen.
Like I was playing football today, and I was the quarterback.
You play quarterback?
Yeah.
How far could you throw the ball?
20-yard throw.
Oh, God. He's going to be Tom Brady over here.
Pretty much. You have a strong hand. And that's my bowling hand that I play with my bowling. And I also threw with that one.
Well, it's all right here. People don't realize when you're bowling and throwing a football, it's the wrist. It's all right here. No place else. The wrist.
I like using my mic like a reporter. Have you ever been a reporter?
That's one of those yes and no questions, because a reporter goes out in the field and they gather a story. And kind of like right now, you're being a reporter because you're reporting a story about me. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword on that one. A double entendre. That goes back to the hypothesis. Hypothesis.
I got to see your website, and it said you were a minority-owned internet broadcasting company since 2001. Do you hear that, listeners? 2001. What is a minority?
I have to laugh at that because that's a good one. Back in the day, let's see if I can say this and clean it up. What's your producer over there? That's
Pierre.
Pierre. Okay, because Pierre might have to edit on this one. Okay. A minority back then would be considered somebody who is not the majority of the people in the United States in 2001 were of a lighter hue, lighter ethnicity, like your dad and your family.
Okay.
Now, and back then you would say that instead of being black owned, you're minority owned, like Hispanic owned or Jewish owned or anybody else owned, except for the majority. Nowadays, it really, it should just say that we are family owned, because now there's really not a lot. There's not a emphasis. Is that a good word? Emphasis? Yeah, there's not a lot of emphasis on is it minority owned or not. Back then, you could get extra money. People would not necessarily spend extra money, but there were monies allocated for minority-owned businesses to advertise. For example, Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch had somebody that would sell advertising, and that person would sell advertising to quote-unquote white-owned businesses, and then to quote-unquote Hispanic-owned businesses, quote-unquote black-owned businesses. So that's how I would say the term minority-owned came about.
So does that make the radio station better?
Not exactly. Not exactly. Nowadays, no. Back then, yes, but now, no.
I know you broadcast my show on one of your stations. Do you have any other shows that you broadcast?
Oh, God, yes, we do. We've had quite a few shows. Let's see, there's DJ Hercurock. He's on the afternoon show from 3 to 6 on oldschool101.com. My girl, Val Jones, who used to work with me over at 104.7 The Flame in Fort Pierce. She does middays. We have Grammy Award-winning Tom Brown, who I know you wouldn't know, but maybe somebody's mother or father would know from Funkin' for Jamaica and or Thighs High. He's on from 9 to midnight. Also, Cheryl Underwood, who is on The View, or she's on... What's her show? I know, I stumbled on that. Anyhow, but Cheryl Underwood, she's on 275 stations, coast to coast. So we've got her on as well. So, I mean, we've got quite a few people.
So do you use math while running a radio show? My teacher says that I will use math every single day of my whole entire life.
Do you know that your teacher's absolutely right? You have to use math every day of your life. I don't care what it is. In broadcasting, it's timing. I can literally do something in the studio, leave the studio, and come back in, and people look at me like, well, what did you do? Well, I ran out to the mailbox, or I moved my car, or I went to the bathroom, and they're like, but how did you know how long to be gone? Well, if I'm looking at the clock, and the clock says the song is 3 minutes long, I know basically what a person can do in 3 minutes. You could do a lot of things in 3 minutes or 5 minutes. You know, it's all about timing. So if, like, my mother used to be a drill instructor when the Navy base was here, and she used to say that I will always be late. And I'm like, no, I will never be late. I know how to manage my time. If the show's supposed to start at 9 o'clock, at 9:45, I should be in the studio doing my final notes, ready to go.
So if one of my listeners wanted to run their own radio show, or even a station, what would you tell them to do?
If they want to do their own radio show, then they should get a hold of your dad, and then we'll try to put, and Pierre, and we'll put something together for them, because anybody can do their own radio show. Honestly, that's why they call it podcasting. Before you were born, we used to record everything on a cassette tape. And a cassette tape is another word nowadays of podcasting. Because everybody back in the day, you had a cassette, and oh man, who mixed that music? And here, borrow this. And so now, all they've done is recorded it onto a computer and passed it along. So it's almost the same principle. So if anybody wanted to do their own radio show, it could be done.
So like a principal of a school?
Yes, the principal could have a radio station. I remember, where was I at? Oak Ridge High School had their own AM and FM. No, Oak Ridge had their own AM radio station. This was 1980. This was before I even thought about DJing. They had their own AM radio station. And the principal, his name was Bill Spoon, who left there and went to Dr. Phillips. He opened Dr. Phillips. They actually had a broadcasting club.
Okay, so my dad told me you helped me get press credentials for the IAPA show. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. Will I be the youngest reporter you have ever worked with?
Yes, you would be. Yes, you would be. Now, I've tried with my kids to get involved in broadcasting, but because Dad does it, it's not a cool thing.
For those that don't know what IAPA is, can you tell them what that stands for?
Oh, now you're going to have to... We talk about cheddar, now you want me to talk about IAPA. I call it IPA. International Association for Amusement Parks.
So, Captain, what do you do for fun when you're not working in the studio?
Well, since this is a kid's show, I like to hang out with my girlfriend. And then we go to places like we'll go to the beach, or we'll go bowling, or we'll talk about our kids. And then I end up taking all of what her and I discuss, and that becomes what we call now content, which we've been using that for 37 years of content, just talking about my life and the fun I get when I'm not working in the studio. It's just me being me, and I see things, and I'm kind of reporting.
Do you play video games?
Now, you know, when I was younger, I loved Galaga. I love Galaga.
I love Galaga.
You like Galaga?
Yeah.
Then we got to find us a Galaga machine and bring it in here.
I know, because at my bowling alley, actually I have a Galaga machine.
Really?
It has Miss Pac-Man on there too.
No way. I like Mr. Pac-Man, but
Mrs. Pac-Man.
Mrs. Pac-Man, that's okay.
Okay, books. What is the best book you have read?
No, I'm thinking there is a book that I have that a gentleman told me to read. The Principles. The People's Principle. You've got to read that book. Well, it's about business and life in general, and that book made me change my mind on business, period.
Thanks so much for being my guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Yeah, I'll stick around, sure.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com. Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855. The Tiberius Show would like to thank Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures for being one of our sponsors. I got to go on an airboat and saw a real gator. I even got to go to the gem mine and mine for some gems. We ate a steak dinner at the restaurant and even got some gator bites. If you want to have a blast with the entire family, I suggest you go to www.bcairboats.com right now. Get your tickets today. The website again is bcairboats.com.
Get ready, it's time for the Bowling Score Report.
I went to Skylanes on Saturday and I played with Vanessa, Mia, and MJ. I bowled a 99, a 127, and a 106 in the final game. I had a lot of fun and I got second place. MJ beat me by only 7 pins. It was so close. My finger was hurting, so I got to take my ball to the pro shop and they made the holes larger, and that made it all better. If you want to go bowling with me, be sure to join me Saturdays at AO Skylands on OBT at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Ooh, I don't know.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Thank you, Captain, for helping me with Math Corners. Today we're going to talk about how multiplication and addition is alike. So I learned in school how you take a multiplication problem and spread it out so you can turn it into an addition problem. So let's take 6 times 4. That means 6 4 times. Or 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals. So 6 times 4 equals 24. You can learn your times tables and know it by heart, or you can just add 6 4 times and still get the same answer, 24. Now this is different than the math tricks we have been talking about in my other episodes. This is a longer way to find out the answer, but if you're ever getting stuck, this is the best way to make sure you are correct before turning in. So Captain, do you know how to turn a multiplication problem into an addition problem?
When we played football and we played Sandlot, it was real simple. And we're not kicking an extra point, okay? If you score a touchdown, it's 7 points. So, if he scores 7 times, 49 points.
Yeah.
If he scores 10 times, it's 70 points.
Yeah.
So I got it. It's almost simple math.
Thank you so much, Captain, for your help with Math Corners.
And now it's time for Heart of a Lion. We at the Tiberius Show like living with the heart of a lion. Living with the heart of a lion stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. We asked Dr. Ferret exactly what that means.
Leadership is really about influence. Leadership is, and the way we define it is good leadership, is about setting the right example and encouraging other people to do the right thing. Integrity is about doing right no matter what. Through life, there are a lot of different circumstances that arise, and integrity, someone who shows integrity, it doesn't matter what all the external things are, they always choose to do what is right. Obedience is about obeying those who are in authority over you, whether that's a teacher, a boss, a parent, that when you are asked to do something, that you respond with obedience, quickly and completely. Nobility is about having respect. It's about carrying yourself with respect and showing respect to others. When you put these 4 things together, that's Lion Strong.
This week we are going to talk about leadership. Leadership is the act of loving what is good, having self-control, and being disciplined. You know when someone is a leader when they are a positive influence on others and it's just easily to change. I saw leadership on our family fall day in the Laney Park. Luke and Gort brought his ball and got everyone together to start a game of kickball. Some of the parents helped Luke keep score. Gort got over 12 people to join us and play kickball. It was a lot of fun, and I even got to be the pitcher. They do call that pitching, right?
I believe so.
Without Gort bringing the ball and getting the people together, there would not have been a kickball game. Captain, did you see or use leadership this week at all?
Yes, I use leadership every day. It's like getting up, and there are days that I just don't feel like doing the radio show, but we've got to do the radio show. There are days that I don't feel like being bothered with somebody because I might have woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But I have to put it all together and make sure it gets done, and no matter what, be professional about it.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank Mr. Chris, the Captain Hill, for being my special guest this week.
Well, thanks for having me on. This has been fun.
And be sure to listen to us next week on Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
I like that. Tiberius Boy!
The Tiberius Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Executive producer, Joseph Boyd. Production editor, Pierre Laguerre. Green Room manager, Danny Boyd. Broadcast associate, James Smith. And your program host, Tiberius Boy. The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.